Hi and welcome back to Cheeky Crypto. My name is Nick and today guys we're going to be jumping down into the world of XRP, taking a look at the most recent price action, what has been going on and what we think is likely to happen next. As I get into the video, if you find it useful and informative, smash that like button, really do appreciate that. If you're new to the channel, then why not go ahead and subscribe, tap the bell, select all the notifications, and in doing so you will be kept up to date with everything that we do here at Cheeky Crypto. If you haven't yet joined us in Discord, guys, check it out, linked in the description down below. It's a fantastic community talking crypto 24/7. It's completely free and I don't think you'll be disappointed by what you find down there. Is the first place that we go to notify you of everything that's going on in the crypto space. So keep a finger on the pulse of crypto by joining us in Discord. Let's jump right down into this one. Right? XRP has been flying recently. It's been moving up and it's good to see that it has come right up into the expected ranges that we were talking about previously. So what we're going to do is we're going to jump into this and kind of dissect down. So if anyone who missed the last video, you should go check that out because I do explain this structure here, but it does look like we're trying to push up a little ways here into this wave 3. This isn't diagonal structure in my opinion, so let's go ahead and just neaten this up a little bit so we can kind of see what's going on here. So we can see that our little wave 1 comes to this area. Our wave 2 is it's actually going to be here as a running flat right in there. Then we have our wave 3 situation coming up here. Yet to be complete in my opinion. It looks like a zigzag pattern. It could be done, but I don't think it's there just yet. So we should just do some sense checks on that, right? So we're going to be looking to see how much further this is going to push upwards before we start to see this wave 4, right? So we can see here that we have an interesting kind of structure point to here, and then we pull back. So I'm going to take this as our wave 1 situation. Could actually be, no, it's not. It's a little bit deeper than that actually. It's over here. That's your high, moved over to the low. We easily hit the 1.618, so that's all good actually. Looking at that from there, I didn't notice that because that line was in the way. You're low, you're high, you're low again. You push up, so we have basically a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 situation going on down here. 1, 2 to here. A little bit of overlap, so I think actually we are still in we're just potentially still in a wave 3. Let's run with that idea. Let's run with the idea that we're still wave 3 for now. Let's see how this plays out. If I take this over to here, we'll be looking at around 51.72 for wave 3 to complete. Okay, that gives us an idea. Okay, it gives us that. Then if this is a wave 1, 2, we should check this out as well. Right inside here, I just need to expand that over a little bit so we get some areas to kind of catch in. There we go. And here we can see that we've already hit this 1.618, so we'll be in a wave 4 situation now, potentially. A little bit of a collapse in the middle there. So again, we could look at this as a multiple different kind of structures appearing all kind of nested inside each other. Without kind of confusing the matters, I think we have to push up towards that 150 or 51.72 area. That's going to be our wave 3 situation. So the interesting thing will be whether or not we actually go at an impulsive level on a much bigger scale. That's going to be the interesting thing. And we'd have to push to 53.5 for that to happen. Keep a close eye on it. Definitely, if we end up with a 53535 in here, then we could actually argue that that's exactly where we'll end up going, right? We can take a look at this as maybe a 5 there, 3 down here. If we go for a 5 up here, 3 down here, 5 up there, then we kind of hit that range. Then we are going to be talking about a very, very significant position for XRP here, right? And it would actually break out of the idea of a diagonal structure. So we would have had our diagonal at the beginning here. And then, yeah, we'd end up with a 5-wave structure really trying to pushing us right up into those highs. Now, if I zoom out of this, right, we can see that we are expecting this to kind of come up into these 5-wave movements, this 5th wave movement up here, our C wave. And it should fall within this range. I can't see any reason at the moment to think it's going to go above this for now. So we'll keep an eye on that structure because it could become very explosive and we could see a big move upwards if we get extensions and stuff like that. But for now, it looks like 50 to 54 seems to be a good anchor point for XRP. Now, if I come over to our daily chart, right, so for reference, this is the hourly, right? These are micro movements. I'm recording this video about 4 hours in advance, so you'll have 4 additional candles on here than what I'm seeing, right? So we can see how that plays out. But on the daily chart, it actually gives us a bit of a macro view, right? So this is an important one because what we do see here is this kind of move upwards. And this is something that's been plotted for a while on in our Discord server for our Patreon members. So we actually hit target today on this one, right? So very, very easy to kind of spot. on the daily chart, and this is one that would have taken a very long period of time to play out, but it's good to kind of see that it is here. We hit this 1-to-1 and we're slowly eking down from here. Now, technically speaking, we still can push up higher, up towards that 1.236 if it really wanted to. So we are talking 50.15 to 54.69. Now, if I come back to our target range over here, it's 50.12 to 54.64, and all of a sudden we start to see that these two numbers and these ranges are starting to really come together really nicely, even on this macro versus the micro. So here we have our C wave structure kind of coming to completion. We potentially can push up a little bit more. As I said before, you know, we kind of have to keep an eye on that internal structure, but it looks like we are going to be bound inside here. The only way that we can talk about going to the moon is if price action keeps the structure, it goes higher than 62.92. Going higher than 62.92, let me actually see if I can there's a way to do this on here. I always forget exactly where it is. Let's do it down here. This is going to be our 1.618. So I'm just going to put that on there, right? So that's our 1.618 target range. And so the only way that we can really get really bullish about this is if, you know, we hit this target range up here, right? We hit this, we come back, then we do that. Then, of course, we're talking about a reversal structure from down here, which would be fantastic to see. Alternatively, though, all of this here could just be a bit of a brief moment to the downside, revisiting these green areas here. These are internal order blocks, reaching equilibrium, capturing any of those fair value gaps. And then we move up again, like this. Okay, now that 1.618, it doesn't matter if we hit that or exceed it, because we've broken our structure to think of this as an impulsive structure. So, you know, we're not going to be too concerned with that. But one of the things that I would say is that we do have the ability to then look at this something like this, right? And then we can see a bigger corrective structure playing out here. And then, of course, if I zoom out even further, we'll then start to really kind of think about, you know, what that might mean for XRP and this bear market situation, right? So at the moment, we haven't got a good trend to the upside. All we have are corrective structures from Elliott wave theory. And if we jump into the smart money concept side of this, right, let me just go ahead and remove some of this stuff off here. Okay, and I'm just going to remove that off. If we come into the smart money concepts, what do we see? Well, we do see that we are in a bullish state. Okay, we have a change of character. If I can draw around it, there you go, which is bullish. Okay, we have break of structure, which is bullish, and a break of structure, which is bullish, right? So all of that is good, right? So we got some positivity down here, right? We changed from bearish to bullish. However, we are in a corrective structure from Elliott wave theory. So smart money concepts only shows you what's going on right now, whereas Elliott wave theory will help you understand where that structure is potentially going in the future. So knowing that we're currently in this bullish state, we hit these highs. It is currently a weak high. We are above equilibrium, and we just hit this one, so it's weak at the moment. But if we were to consider all of the resistances up here and our stochastics that are heavily overbought, we should be concerned that actually XRP needs some cooling off. It needs to come down. And as we start to cool off and we start to come down, we're potentially going to have a change of character that is bearish. Okay, so we've hit the higher ranges that we've been talking about for quite some time now. And we can now argue to ourselves that it's time for reversal. It's time to now take a look at this from maybe a bearish state of play. The obvious ones are that we look at it like this at the moment. We can come down into new lows. Okay, this is probably one of my preferred movements, because if we take a look at it from this point of view, we can see that we were expecting a Z wave down lower. We can see that this kind of comes into our expectations of this move to come into the range a little bit lower than the previous lows. Okay, so there's both a bullish count and a bearish count here, and we're kind of stuck until we kind of get confirmation. We can go up like that, or we can come down like this. Okay, so really what we're doing here is we're now looking at those internal structures on the smaller time frames and trying to figure out whether or not we can go long or whether we can go short. The momentum needs to shift down. That's regardless. So we know that we have to move down here, but it's not going to confirm our direction for us. Essentially what we need to do is we need to kind of wait for either a trend to present itself on, let's say, the 4-hour chart, where we can then start to plot out a direction, right? So at the moment it's a little bit too soon to know, but it's an interesting one that we want to be keeping an eye on, because we are either going to break upwards or we're going to break downwards, right? And what we want to do is we want to put ourselves into a trade position that's actually going to be a good risk reward ratio. We don't want to risk too much if things go wrong. So if we were to short this market, now would look like an interesting time to kind of do it, right? Because if we were to short XRP, then we're going to want to do it in a position where it's in your favor to do so, right? The risk reward ratio is good. So if I were to enter into a short right now, I'm going to make sure that my stop loss is going to be above this swing high, because that's going to basically mean that we're not likely to move down into the new low area down here anytime soon. We can do it under a different structure, but you're going to do something to this effect. Now, on the daily time frame, this would take months to play out potentially. So you have to kind of be, getting a trade that is right for your kind of emotional state. Sometimes people overreact, right? It's not quite going, it's impatience and all those kind of things. So when it comes to kind of trading here, you want to make sure that you do something that you're comfortable with doing. Ultimately, if we're on a daily time frame, expect it to be something that you hold for a vast period of time. Same with the weekly, right, time frames. So this one would be interesting to me, right? We're above the swing high as our stop loss. We have our take profit down in between our Z wave ranging. Ultimately, we can be really conservative and just go double bottom if we want. That gives us about a 3.0 risk reward ratio, which isn't too bad. Or we can come somewhere down a little bit deeper, more towards maybe the 4.24 cent range or whatever, something to that effect, somewhere in there. But we can see that we get a good risk reward ratio, so it's not too bad to kind of be thinking about doing something to this effect if we wanted to. Likewise, if we're going long, we haven't really got the data to support that just yet. So I wouldn't be going into a long position right now thinking that we're going to the moon, because your risk is going to be all this red area here, and your reward, well, you have to assume that we're going to go to the moon if we want a very similar risk reward ratio, right? If we want a 3.0, we're going to have to be way up here, and we're going to be talking about going over $1 for that to happen. And to be honest with you, I don't think that's really where the structures are supporting at the moment. So if we're to go long, what we're going to have to first do is correct down. Okay, so we're going to want to wait for some kind of correction to the downside. Then we're going to want to make sure we get our long position in. And what we're going to want to do with our long position, he says, where is my... I've completely... lost the plot on that one. Let me go into the settings on this and just correct that out. Let's come into here. So my stop level is not going to be negative. I don't know what happened there. We're going to put this at, let's say, 0.10, 0.10. That'll do. That'll get it into the range so I can actually see it. So yeah, what we'd do is we'd put our stop loss, if I can get back onto track here, unlock it. We're going to put our stop loss on that swing low area. Okay, so if we're going to be going long, we're going to want to make sure that we do this, right? We're going to be targeting out a double top. We're going to make sure that our stop loss is below the swing low, right? So we'll be looking for those corrective structures to kind of take that into profit range. Now is not a good time for going long. Now is the time that if we wanted to risk it for a chocolate biscuit, we're going to be going short, not long, right? We're going to do something to this effect instead. But let me know what your thoughts are on that in the comments below. And if you are actively trading, why not check out 𝗕𝗕𝗄, linked in the description below. It is the only place I'm going to do my spot trading or my leverage trading at the moment. It's my go-to platform. And they do some fantastic offers as well. So they're doing cashback at the moment, $50, 50 USDT deposit. They'll get 10 USDT back as cashback. They also do deposit bonuses and rewards up to $8,000 depending on how much you deposit and your trading volumes and all those kind of things. They also do lucky draws and so many other things, right? So many fantastic things. But we also use 𝗕𝗕𝗄 as a funnel for gathering all of the ROI percentage gains within a week, and we have a weekly competition down in our Discord server that actually is using 𝗕𝗕𝗄 as the funnel for that data. We have $100 up for grabs every single week with 4 days left on this current competition, and you can see all of the current people who are using 𝗕𝗕𝗄 here and the percentages that they are earning. The person who gets the best ROI in the week will end up with the $100 prize or USDT prize, right? It gets transferred directly to you, and that's the brilliance part here of running these competitions through 𝗕𝗕𝗄, is that we're able to kind of, people who sign up to 𝗕𝗕𝗄 using the link below, appear here, can register, because you do have to register every single week, and then take part. And you're actively trading, and your trading activities will rank you, and then the person who ranks first will win the $100 USDT. Now, the other thing that we want to do here is we want to grow this, right? The more people who participate, the bigger the prizes will become. Right, we want to go to from 100 to 1,000, then from 1,000 to 10,000. At the moment, it's only one person that wins, but maybe we'll make it the top 10 people that will win eventually, right? There's lots of fantastic things that we want to do with this, but it does require you guys to kind of sign up to 𝗕𝗕𝗄, use that platform, and then we can grow this competition in the Discord server. So Discord's linked below. BitGet's link below. Check it out. Enough shilling from me for today, I think. So when it comes to XRP, that's kind of how I would approach this one. I think if we're going to risk it, we're going to short it on the daily. But I think there's better entries if we go down into those smaller timeframes. I don't think we're finished pushing up into this range. So if we really, really want to snipe a good entry on a short position, we're probably going to be looking more towards 53 cent, in my opinion, and we'll probably go short somewhere up here. But we have to keep a close eye on the internal structures here on this time frame, and you can see the much better risk reward ratio, which means you're not going to risk so many of your dollars, Joe, to kind of enter into a short position. But nonetheless, you know, it is what it is. I do expect a little bit further to the upside on the smaller time frames. On the larger time frames, we are looking for a move to the downside, in my opinion. That's regardless. The only thing that's really undecided at the moment is whether or not we are macro up or macro down, and we're only really going to know that over the next few weeks or so as more data becomes available to us. Let me know your thoughts down in the comments below. If you found this useful and informative, smash that like button. Do appreciate that. If you're new, subscribe. Don't forget to join us in Discord. Check out BitGet. Guys, I'll catch you all in the next one.
We are not financial advisors. None of what we have communicated verbally or in writing here should be considered as financial advice. It is not. Do your own research before investing in any digital asset or affiliate offers, and understand that investing in any crypto is risky. If you do, you need to be prepared to risk your entire investment. This video is for information and entertainment purposes only. All our videos are strictly personal opinions. Please make sure you do your own research and never take our opinions for financial guidance. There are multiple strategies, and not all strategies fit all people. Our videos are not financial advice.